So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the NFL Combine has officially concluded, and with that being the case, just like every year, you have prospects that have raised their draft stock, prospects that have lowered their draft stock a little bit, and every once in a while, you find a draft prospect that you had no idea about, but after an impressive combine, they're right there on your radar. And today, we are going to be talking about some of those players. Guys that either raised their draft stock incredibly, or guys that came out of flat out nowhere and jumped up onto draft boards after an incredible NFL combine, showing off extreme athletic ability and extreme potential at the next level in the NFL. Today I have 5 prospects, 5 players that are either lesser known or projected to go anywhere from rounds 3 to 7 that have improved their draft stock over the past week at the NFL Combine, and guys that the Lions could be targeting in the NFL Draft after a week in Indianapolis. So with that being the case, and without any further ado, let's get on to the very first player of this draft class, a player that I personally had no idea about before the NFL Combine happened, and that was Tariq Wallin, the 6'4", 205-pound corner out of UTSA. Now, Tariq Wallin had a 10.0 RAS score, meaning he is nearly a flawless athlete, running a 4.26 second 40-yard dash and having a 42-inch vertical jump. And in his career at UTSA, he has 9 passes defended and 2 interceptions. He has an elite combination of size and speed against 6'4", 205 pounds, running a 4.26 with some really good coverage ability. Right now, Tariq Wallin is currently graded as the 11th cornerback in this class and is currently ranked as the 88th prospect overall in this class, or right around that area by a lot of different media forms. And honestly, I think Tariq Wallin's going to go a little higher than that. I don't think a guy that played at a D1 program that was ranked nonetheless, and a guy that is that big and that fast and that freakish of an athlete falls anywhere near the outside of the top 100. I think he sneaks in. I think he gets there maybe even as early as the second round, a top 60, a top 50 prospect maybe. He's definitely not as good as guys like Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner, but if you're talking about a high upside guy that's going to go probably closer to the 100 mark, if not even outside the top 100 early on day 3, Tariq Wallin could be one of the biggest steals in this draft season. Now, another player that was really big, a player that I have been high on for a little while, but I had no idea was this athletically gifted, was Zion McCollum, the 6'2", 199-pound cornerback out of Sam Houston, the FCS school that won the national championship in 2019. Now, many of you are not going to know about Zion McCollum, as again, he was an FCS player and never really saw the national spotlight outside of their national championship run in 2019. But Zion McCollum was a consensus All-American in 2021, standing at 6'2", 200 pounds. He ran at the combine a 4.33 40-yard dash, having a 39.5-inch vertical jump and an 11-foot broad jump. He graded athletically, or as far as RAS score, graded elite in size, speed, explosiveness, and agility with a 9.99 RAS score. He is an incredible athlete with elite production at the college level, hitting 13 interceptions, 3 interceptions for 4 of his 5 seasons with Sam Houston. On top of that, taking 2 of those back to the house, having 50 passes defended and 6 forced fumbles. Now, you may be thinking this guy has to be graded as a top corner in the NFL. Elite production, elite size, elite speed, but Zion McCollum right now is expected to go anywhere from the 200th spot or later, and is projected as of right now as the 26th cornerback in this draft class. Now, a big part of this is the fact that he went to an FCS school, that he played for an FCS college and didn't have an opportunity to play against some of the best players in college football. Didn't have an opportunity to necessarily play the elite quarterback talent or the elite receiving talent that he saw at the FCS level, but he had elite production. If this guy played anywhere at an FBS school, if this guy played at a D1 school, if this guy played at, a top 10 program, if he played anywhere and put up this kind of production, he would be an easy top 5 pick. And I understand that the level of competition wasn't as good there, but there was nobody that troubled him at the FCS level. There was nobody that dominated him. There was nobody that even gave him a little bit of trouble at the collegiate level, and I think he can make that jump. And I know it's uncommon to have D2 guys or FCS guys go far in the NFL, but you look at Trey Lance, you look at Carson Wentz, you look at some of the other North Dakota State products to come out, FCS guys can make it in the NFL. And Zion McCollum, if anybody's going to make it from the FCS, it's going to be this guy. He's an elite size, speed, explosiveness, and agility combination with really good coverage, pretty good technique, and his elite production at the college level. There's no real indication that he can't do anything, that he's physically limited by anything on the field. And honestly, at the Lions draft this guy as early as the 4th round, as early as 150. I believe they hold like 179th pick, I believe, in the draft. If they pick him there, even necessarily 30 spots ahead of where they think Zion McCollum's gonna go, I guarantee you this guy can be a huge impact player for the Detroit Lions secondary, especially if they experience injuries yet again like they did a season ago. Now, Brandon Smith is likely somebody that you've heard the name of. Brandon Smith, the 6'3", 250-pound linebacker out of Penn State, is somebody that you likely have heard of, and some of you may even have him on your big board as a top draft prospect for the Detroit Lions. And honestly, Brandon Smith was up there for me too. Brandon Smith is somebody that I have just had and held in very high regards in this draft process. Somebody that I've watched a little bit of, still want to do a little bit more scouting on him, but from what I have seen from the statistics and from the low sample size, I really like what I've seen out of Brandon Smith. And at the NFL Combine, he did everything right. He measured in as elite as size, speed, and explosiveness, didn't do a lot of agility drills, but ran a 4.5 40-yard dash for a linebacker that is incredibly good. Had a 37.5-inch vert with a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump. Again, testing in elite categories with size, speed, and explosiveness. Penn State has an incredible history of providing linebackers to the NFL and transitioning those linebackers from Penn State guys to NFL greats. And Micah Parsons is just the most recent example of that, but they have a deep history of being a college that produces linebackers, but more so a college that produces athletes on the defensive side of the football. And Brandon Smith is just the next link in that chain. And honestly, I don't think Brandon Smith's going to be better than Micah Parsons, but Brandon Smith did look better in certain areas in college than Micah Parsons did. And I think Brandon Smith has the potential to be the NFL's next Micah Parsons, that do-it-all linebacker that's just big, fast, athletic, and has all the potential and upside in the world. Now, Boye Mafa, the edge rusher out of Minnesota, is another guy that had a really, really good combine. I believe had, again, a 9.99 overall RAS score, standing at 6'3", 261 pounds. He also, for a defensive end, as an edge rusher, ran a 4.5 flat 40-yard dash with a 38-inch vertical and a 10.5-foot broad jump. He combines elite speed and elite explosiveness from the testing numbers. Did come in slightly undersized, again, 6'3", 261 pounds for an edge rusher. That's not bad. That's not a small edge rusher, but it's not anything elite. It's not anything crazy, right? It's not some huge edge rusher that is going to absolutely dominate with power, necessarily like Aiden Hutchinson standing at 6'7", but 6'3" is nothing to scoff at as a defensive lineman. A little's on the underside, but that's the only area where he didn't test elite in from an athletic standpoint on his RAS score. He's currently ranked as edge 11 in this class and is ranked as the 74th overall prospect entirely. And honestly, if the Lions end up passing on Kayvon Thibodeaux, if they end up passing on, somebody like Aiden Hutchinson in the top 2, in the top 5, Boye Mafa in the 3rd round or even early in the 2nd round could be a really quality pickup to not only get your edge rusher of the future, but just get a really underrated, super athletic edge rusher that can do a lot of different things well for your defense. And then the last guy we're going to talk about today, really, really quickly, is JT Woods, a 6'2", 195-pound safety from Baylor. Ran a 4.36, was just one of the many Baylor members who run under a 4.4 40-yard dash. Had a 39.5-inch vert and a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump. He was incredibly productive at the college football level, playing at Baylor, playing at a Pac-12 school. Pac-12 not really known for their defense, but JT Woods showed up every single day and made plays on the defensive side of the ball. Was super productive in college. And honestly, if the Lions pass on Kyle Hamilton in the first round. They pass on Kyle Hamilton at number 2. I think JT Woods is the second best value safety in this entire class. Not that I think he's the second best, but I think he is the second best value, as Kyle Hamilton is a generational talent, but JT Woods is expected to go nowhere near the top 100. He's expected to be anywhere from 150 to 180 in the draft order, and honestly, at that kind of range, JT Woods could be a huge steal of the draft. I expect him to go anywhere from the 4th to 5th round. I wouldn't expect him to fall farther than that, and he could be this year's Amon-Ra St. Brown, somebody that, isn't necessarily the most hyped up, somebody that maybe is better than what their draft stock may indicate, and somebody that's going to come in, is going to work hard, and is going to produce and be just a better player than what a lot of people thought he was going to be coming out of college. Now, with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Just a quick video to update you on some of the lesser known products coming into this draft, and some of the lesser known products that had big time performances at the NFL Combine. If you like this video, there are a ton of other lesser known players to come out, and there's a ton of other lesser known guys that had really, really good combines, guys like Kevin Austin, Troy Anderson, Nick Cross, and many, many more. So if you liked this video and you'd like to see more prospects that had incredible combines that the Lions could end up targeting in this year's class, let me know that down in the comments, and let me know what player you were most impressed with at the NFL Combine this year. But with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, and as always, go Lions!